Good morning. Welcome to Pecan Corner. Today I'm going to show you how I'm going to clean the beef tallow that I've saved from cooking our beef and making beef broth to can. I'm going to clean this and show you how we can save it to use in other dishes in our kitchen. I chilled the broth and let it sit in the refrigerator, and then I was able to just lift the fat right off the top of it. But you can see there's still broth and bits of meat in there. We don't want any of that in our clean tallow. So I'm going to first, I've stored this in the refrigerator until I was ready to clean it. Now I'm going to put it on the stove and I'm going to warm it up and make it liquid again. Okay, my fat is melted. I'm going to store this in the refrigerator. I think it would probably even store at room temperature, but I prefer to have those kinds of things in the fridge. You could also freeze it. Because I'm not going to can it, and I don't think it should be canned, everything I've read says that tallow is like lard or butter. If you've noticed, those things are stored in, are not stored in airtight packages. They're stored in, still wrapped in paper, and I think that they need to have air access to them to keep them from going rancid. So since I'm not going to seal it or can it, I'm going to store it in just some reused jars that I've got and save my good canning jars for the things that I need to do. I'm using my canning funnel though, and I'm going to line it with a coffee filter. And now I'm going to, I've set my my pan inside a deep cookie sheet here because I tend to be clumsy, and I don't want to spill this grease all over my countertop here. Now I just have to wait for this to drip through the filter. It's a little bit of a slow process, but by using a coffee filter, this assures that all these little bits, and I'll show you as soon as I get it through here, all these little bits will come out. Your cleaned tallow can be used in cooking. We have a couple of favorite things that we do with it. Number one is my grandfather's chili recipe. It calls for tallow, and we'll be doing a video this winter when it gets cold enough when we make that. The other thing that tallow is great for is for deep frying. Paul says it makes fabulous French fries. We'll do a video on that one of these days too, show you some really good ones. But that's the exciting thing is most of us, even if we've grown up using bacon fat or pork fat, most of us have always just thrown beef fat away. Well, beef fats and oils are too expensive now, and they're all adulterated with junk. They've got soy oil in them, or they're hydrogenated or something. And so this is a way to recover some of the fats that we already have in our kitchens and find a good use for them. And so our deep frying of those things that you just can't make any other way will be another good use for this. Tallow also makes great soap. Those of you that are soap makers, they say it makes some of the most wonderful soap there is. And of course, we all read about tallow when we studied about the Pilgrims and how they used that to dip their candles with. All right, I'm going to let this continue to filter. Okay, because this had so much meat left in it, what I've decided to do is to strain it first through my regular strainer, and as you can see, that's collected a large amount of product there. And now I'm going to strain the remaining amount then through my strainer. It should go through a little bit faster. I'm also going to set this strainer inside my canning funnel to hold the coffee filter in place a little better. You can use muslin or you can use paper towels to filter this as well. Whatever you happen to have on hand will be fine. Welcome back. I have now filtered it. I'm not as patient as my husband. He's willing to pour a cup full of fat into that coffee filter and go on and about his business and wait 10 minutes for it to drip through one drop at a time. I'm a little less patient. Plus, I'm doing a video and I want to get this done for you guys. So I switched to a paper towel. Also, make sure that while your fat doesn't need to be boiling, it does need to be pretty hot to go through here. I scooped it, you know, I dipped it out instead of pouring it because I'm a klutz and I didn't want to risk spilling it by pouring it. You can see what I've got left here. Can you see that?
Yeah,
this is what I would filtered out with my second filter. Okay, I filtered all that little bits out. Now I'm just going to throw all of that away because that's all stuff we would not want in our meat. I mean in our grease. Now, as this is cooling, there's something collecting at the bottom there. Once you've got your fat cleaned and saved and you put it in the refrigerator, once it cools off, if you notice that there's a sediment in the bottom, just do this process again. Take the clean fat off the top, leave that sediment there to discard, and then filter it once again. Now, after you've used this to fry in, you're going to have a steak and you fry your potatoes in it. You can clean it and continue using it until you fry fish in it. You can just continue cleaning it and using it. So.
I don't think I'd want fish fried in it anyway. Beef and fish.
Beef and fish wouldn't work.
I don't think.
My grandmother always said potatoes clean your grease. So she didn't worry about having to filter it after frying potatoes in it. But I'm just saying, you don't have to discard this after you've used it to fry in. As long as you don't overheat it and burn it, you can just continue using it. And then, I'm going to let this cool, and then I'm going to put it in the refrigerator, and I'm going to save it for the next time that we need to fry something. I will be back in a little while, and I'll show you what I'm going to do with the rest of the scraps of all of this meat that